Hello, welcome to my marketing trend project. Today we're going to be looking at the shift to influencers and streamers in the gaming industry. I'm Aryak Dixit and this is my presentation for my Management 620 class. Starting off strong, we're going to talk a little bit about what is this project and what is this trend about. So this trend focuses mainly on game developers and companies and how they collaborate with streamers, YouTubers, and all of these individuals on social media such as YouTube and Twitch to kind of project their product or game into the large audiences and their markets. So getting a little bit deeper into it. So why would this trend matter? Like the main reason why this trend is important is because of two core concepts. The first one being that because of the fast-paced nature of the gaming industry and the sheer rate at which it's evolving, it's becoming really important to retain their current player bases, the people who already generate them money. And second important thing or concept would be to tap into new audiences. Since gaming is kind of transitioning from being like a niche or a specialized concept to becoming very mainstream, so this becomes a crucial factor in kind of placing the product and gaming to become profitable or stay profitable. Now, why would this be relevant to modern marketing? This is relevant to modern marketing on two fronts. These two fronts are because they engage heavily in they focus heavily on the engagement and they focus heavily on the reach. An engagement concept, they kind of leverage the streamer and viewer relationship to kind of pitch their product in a softer sense, so that the product is being introduced to the viewers by who they already like. So that kind of enables a more positive response from their end. And the reach could be that Twitch and YouTube platforms have these huge events and live events, and what could be done in here is they enable access to millions of viewers who previously would not even maybe consider this product sheerly because of their favorite creators watching it. So that could enable them to tap into the new audiences. So going forward, yes. So when did why is there a trend in shift towards content creators? So the global influencer market, not just the gaming, the global market was valued at 21.1 billion in 2023, which has more than tripled its value since 2019. And in this, specifically gaming influencer marketing was valued at 4.4 billion in 2022, which is up from its 2.5 billion mark in 2021. So almost kind of doubling in that sense. So this is done because of platforms and their own explosive growth, such as Twitch and YouTube Gaming, who have been instrumental in this kind of an approach to marketing, is because they average at really high viewer values, and Twitch specifically averaging about 2.84 million viewers concurrently in just 2021. That's a huge number. And let's take a look at an interesting metric. So you would be surprised to know that 32% of consumers globally buy a product just because a creator recommended it. In this, the gaming subset, the gaming enthusiasts, account for 40% of purchases. So 40% of gaming enthusiasts purchase something because their content creator endorsed it. So that is a huge driver, which we can look at later on in the next slide in the pie chart. So influence in gaming purchases. So here we take a little bit of a look on what could be a factor in driving purchases. And the first one here is that influencer marketing. So of all gaming activities, influencer marketing accounts for 31% of the brand's efforts towards marketing, followed by 25%. That would be general awareness. Let me just move a little bit so you can see that. And followed by independent advertisements. Now this could be through the Steam website, this could be through their own billboards, through their own advertisements on YouTube, game conventions such as E3, PAX, email marketing, and other channels. They account for together they account for about 40% of the overall gaming marketing strategies. So that's kind of a surprising figure when you look at it, 31%. And it is huge because that kind of establishes the truth that it is really valuable to follow up on these gaming purchases. And this was a study conducted by BCG Global and Blizzard Activision, who is an owner of World of Warcraft and Overwatch, which are massive titles in the gaming industry. Going forward, 3 live cases. We're going to take a look at 3 cases. So the first one is Jaden Animations and Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact is a massive open world game, and this was during their launch. They paired up with Jaden Animations, who had a subscriber count of then 10 million and currently 13.8 million subscribers. And they did this strategically because they knew that her audience is somewhat who is an audience that they could target and somewhat would be interested in their product. And this marketing campaign got them 9.1 million views, which established Genshin Impact's positive nature in Jaden Animations community, and this boosted visibility for Genshin Impact in its launch week. And this was specifically catered toward casual gamers who would be interested in the RPG genre. And to further engage them, they also provided a gift code to Jaden. So providing these kind of like 60 Primogent and 5 adventure experiences also encouraged new players to try the game out. So this was a real life case that was carried out. The other one being Soda Poppin' X Supervive. So Supervive is not released yet, but it is something that's on the streamers' radars through open betas. So Soda Poppin' is a massive streamer, and he has more than 11,000 live viewers every time he streams. And during these streams, Soda Poppin' encourages the viewers to go and add Supervive to their Steam wish lists. What this does is helps Supervive gauge like what actually the player count is that's interested in their video game. So not only just having like a marketing aspect to it, it also has its own like product development aspect to it, where they would understand the player base. And this had a massive impact for Supervive because they kind of generated a lot of pre-launch hype for them. And through loyal fan engagement of Soda Poppin', they were also able to kind of announce an open beta that should be released in November 20th, 2024. That's just a few days from now. Third example is Saints Row and George M and Yanimes. So George M is a YouTuber and Yanimes is a car modifier. And what they did was Saints Row collaborated with George M to kind of create a real life car that could be made in game. Now, this video garnered 9.2 million views, and it integrated diverse creators. It also integrated other creators that were not in the gaming space. So that kind of helped them expand their horizons into new viewer bases that could potentially try out Saints Row. The sales increased by 15% in the first week. Now, of course, we can't allocate all of that to this one campaign, but we could see that this 15% had an impact because similar games without these kind of campaigns did not have this jump. So there's a factor that played into it. And just a second. Yeah, so this also helped in broadening the player base, as I mentioned, by enhancing their audiences to newer gaming content and kind of making them see the value in their game as well. Going forward, yes, impact on consumer behavior and businesses. So before this trend, what used to happen is before influencer marketing actually kicked in, there were supposed to be very simple, TV commercials, print media, maybe typically achieved, engagement rates between 1% and 2%. So this was not as high, and this was kind of like a push version of marketing where everything would be pushed through the gaming media onto like the direct consumers. So these had really low engagement rates since there was a one-way communication. But what it did have was genre loyalty. Like some people who would say be focused in the racing genre would be really dedicated to the racing genre, and somebody who's really interested in say an RPG genre game would be really interested in the RPG section. But when a study was carried out by the Entertainment and Software Association, the ESA, it was found that 70% expressed reluctance when they were introduced to newer games, which is something that was before influencer marketing kicked in. And what happened is there were also like extended purchase decision processes. What would happen is consumers often require like 5 to 7 interactions with a game. That could be through a social media first, like on a TV first, then through kind of like a print, then talking to someone, and that's how they kind of were able to create a purchase decision, which was something that was not a factor in after consumer marketing. So after this trend, like what started happening was there was increased trust in influencer recommendations. So driven campaigns kind of already carry the influencers' credibilities. And what this does, it kind of increases the engagement rate to 20 to 30%, which is significantly higher than traditional methods. And what this happens is it also enables players to try out new games because somebody who they like is pushing that game. So 45% of these gamers reported that trying new genres based on the recommendations was just something that they could easily take up and they would be open to. Even if they would later not like it, they would at least go through the initial trial phase of the game. What this does is games promoted by influencers experiences a 15 to 25% increase in the revenue compared to those without such campaigns, because that credibility of the influencer really carries forward. And the last point being that influencer of the online community. So during the time of influencer marketing kicked in, 40% of the gamers who were actually in the industry stated that discussions with influencer-led communities, such as a community of XQC who talks in live chat and offline chat, they used to talk a lot about this game called Overwatch, and that kind of led them to play more Overwatch, engage in more of that content, and become a loyal fan of the game, even though they were kind of a loyal fan of XQCs first. So that's an example there. And this kind of significantly impacted their further decisions. So when Overwatch, say, releases loot boxes or battle pass systems, these players are more open to purchasing that because they already have a good image of the game in mind because of their influencers. Going forward, benefits and challenges. So of course, there is no such thing as the perfect trend. Of course, it has its own benefit, but also has its own challenges. The benefits are that there's a massive audience reach and early adoption. And an example here could be Ninja's and Apex Legends collaboration. So when Apex Legends released, Ninja streamed it on his Twitch account, which helped the game achieve 25 million players in its first week itself. So that's a big way to how they tapped into the audience of Ninja through the live streaming opportunities. The enhanced visibility and longevity for niche games. So a very niche game is Five Nights at Freddy's, which started off as an indie game, but Markiplier picked that up, who's a YouTuber, picked that up, and his community really fell in love with the game, and that's how the game not only had 3.4 more sequels, but that's how they kind of increase how Markiplier enabled visibility for the game, and it has now turned into like a big cult following all over the internet. Now, the third point in the benefits is the viral growth through community engagement. We all remember lockdown. We all probably tried out Among Us. So Pokimane, being one of the biggest Twitch streamers in Among Us, kind of contributed heavily to achieve the 500 million concurrent players. This was due to her high live viewer counts during her streams and the frequency of Among Us live streams. So this kind of put Among Us on the map of everyone and helped broaden their Among Us's player bases. The fourth point being that audience diversification and genre exploration. So as I mentioned previously, it enables audiences to access diverse content which they previously would not be open to. The challenges here are over-reliance on individual customers. This happened with Shroud, when Shroud was focusing on a game called Escape from Tarkov, and when he ended up dropping it, the hype kind of died with it. So there is a challenge there on how you can mitigate that. Is something that should be explored. There's a risk of misaligned branding. Now, choosing influencers whose persona aligns with the genre's identity really matters. Like, you can't have a racing game player pitch an RPG game because those are just very, very different domains. And maybe you get some value out of it, but there's a risk of not really creating a brand value initially from that's suited with your own image. And content saturation, as we face in Among Us, like all of the streamers started playing Among Us, that kind of reduced player interest and engagement over time, and now we can see there's a big shift in what the numbers were in lockdown and what they currently are. And there's a limited control over messaging. So sometimes when YouTubers play videos, there's a chance that it does not look good and your bugs become visible to 3-4 million players, and that kind of creates a negative image in mind. So there's an offset over there as well. Going forward, potential of this trend in marketing landscape. First one being it becoming a dominant marketing channel. This could be seen through collaborations with Nike and other companies who could tap into like FIFA, and who could also tap into the NBA and the other sports titles. The other being the emphasis on niche groups, as we mentioned before, the Freddy Fazbear thing. If McDonald's picks that up, there is a way they could even, McDonald's being kind of like already a big franchise and already being an established player, kind of pick Fazbear up as well, so that they could kind of create a new Happy Meal or maybe a new product around the Fazbear range that would help them create like a seasonal sale boost or kind of a new reason for people to come to McDonald's. Other one being metaverse and virtual YouTubers. So metaverse kind of not exactly being the biggest thing right now. I can see that growing over time, and that could be a very big hotspot for products through influencer marketing. And Red Bull could be an example, which would be cross-industrial collaboration, where they could collaborate with games such as Trackmania, where the cars do crazy flips and do high-speed racing, which could be a way for Red Bull to establish itself and market itself to the gaming audiences as well. Now, so we've gone through a lot of content into the last 13-14 minutes. The influencer marketing has transformed from gaming promotions and leveraging platforms as Twitch and YouTube to kind of create new value for them. Collaborations like Jaden Animations, as we previously mentioned, and Soda Poppin with Genshin and Supervive respectively have been really important in creating hype and creating a customer base for the gaming companies. Benefits included such as higher reach, higher engagement, and cross-industry potentials. Challenges involve, influencer reliance, content saturation, and maybe control over messaging. And future trends include emphasis on niche groups, mainstream media possibilities, and influencers and marketing and gaming marketing influencers as a dominant marketing channel. What my personal thoughts are is that VTubers could be the next big thing. They are already a kind of a big thing in the USA, Japan, and Korea. Now, like Gorgura and Kizuna AI, who already have big subscriber counts on YouTube, they stream often, and they often have more than 20,000 live viewers. Now, these could be ideal for indie games and AAA games. So I believe these could be kind of a way to market gaming products. So thank you so much for your patience, and there's my email. Please let me know if I can clear anything up. Thank you.